Alessandra, do you know what time it is?
It's the Brakedown. Good morning, DHS, and welcome back to another episode of The Brakedown.
This week we're jumping right into it. Kellen Browning, a journalist for the New York Times and former hubster, came a few weeks ago and gave a talk to some journalism classes here.
Malinowski and Juna brothers have the story.
The All-Student Center is a big part of school life, but many students don't realize that it didn't exist 7 years ago.
It's exciting. I've never been in this building, but I had heard a lot about it, and to have this be the result of a story that I contributed to and wrote is a cool feeling.
Browning currently works for the New York Times, but came back recently to visit the Hub, which he used to work for. During their time in the Hub, he and fellow student Grace Ritchie wrote an article that greatly influenced the creation of the ASC.
For students with disabilities at Davis High School, there really wasn't a place for them to eat lunch with other students when it rained. They were sort of shunted to the side in the South Gym during lunchtime, and so we wrote about how this was disadvantaging them and making it hard for everyone to come together in one place. And when we published the story, what I remember is the school board was really not very happy about this because it made them look bad. But eventually they came around to it, and I think there was an effort to build a new building, and that's what this is.
As a reporter for the New York Times, where he has been for about 4 years, he specializes in business technology and breaking news.
For the last about 2 months, I've been on the campaign trail covering the 2024 primary.
To cover the primaries, Browning traveled to Iowa.
I got there at the beginning of December, and it's a weird primary right now because Trump is such a dominant front runner. And so part of the challenge has been figuring out what the story is, what's interesting right now, covering the race and giving the other candidates a chance and saying, Nikki Haley is doing this and Ron DeSantis is doing this, while also acknowledging that Trump is, by far ahead.
Being a journalist sometimes invited unwanted attention.
We think that you're the enemy or you're lying to us. It definitely sparks interesting conversations for sure, and I think it's good to be able to have that face-to-face conversation rather than through a screen and people yelling at you on Twitter.
Despite this, Browning loves his job.
Honestly, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't a journalist. I haven't really thought about it.
For The Brakedown, this is Maya Malinowski.
It's time for our annual ski team sideline.
That's right, Lily Shroeder is on the slopes.
Hi, it's Lily, and we're back with our annual ski team sideline squad. Here at Boreal Mountain today for our third slalom race of the season, and stakes are about 3 weeks away, so many skiers are looking to qualify. So both of you guys need to qualify for stakes this race. How are you guys feeling? What is your plan of action to get a qualifying time?
I'm super excited. It's great to face a little adversity out on the slopes. Stay calm, cool, and collected, and yeah, have a great race. Yep, exactly. Just get down to the finish.
Varsity women just finished our first run. Men are running right now. Next will be JV girls and then JV boys.
Today I'm more focused. We are gonna beat NU and Colfax today.
Yeah.
We're gonna win.
The course is pretty turny. It definitely runs a little slow, and there's one delay that's been tripping some skiers up. Any tips for the second run?
Go fast.
Perfect. Thanks.
Davis skiers still skied well, and many managed to qualify for states, including junior Katie McMullen, senior Amelia Thacker, freshman David Liu, and junior Nick Mandelaris.
All right, varsity women just finished our second run of the day, finished our race. All of Davis started in the top half of varsity for our second run. Means we're doing pretty good, and we have a pretty good chance of winning the whole thing. How's the energy feeling? I know we have a lot of cheering going on at the bottom. Who's in charge of that? Who leads it?
Definitely Katie. She's kind of our captain of team spirit. She gets us going with the pep talks, make sure we're down at the bottom cheering for everyone when they come in. So it's really nice to have that support. Yeah, skiing's a team sport, and so we just gotta stay together, build the chemistry, and just have each other's backs.
Davis ended up winning the race, coming in first in all 4 divisions, and having a lot of skiers qualify for states. For The Brakedown, this is Lily Shroeder.
Turning the page,
Author and activist Joe McGill was invited to speak last Thursday at DHS.
Marion Delarue has that story.
Historically, going to places, plantations, when they were first opened, the concentration was a nice, beautiful big house, which is good. That's a story, but that's not the whole story.
Thursday, February 15th, Davis High hosted Joe McGill, founder of the Slave Dwelling Project. He shared his story during lunch and after school in the Cornell Theater.
I find slave dwellings wherever they are in the United States, and I spend nights in them to bring attention to them, not only to their existence, but what they were historically. They were the places where enslaved people lived.
History teacher Kevin Williams was the one who reached out to McGill. He met him in Charleston, South Carolina, and invited him to talk to DHS students and the community.
He gave a talk. I was blown away by the way he presented the talk, but also the way he talked about how we tend to glamorize white slave plantation life while we don't even think about the lives of the enslaved people that lived there.
The project quickly evolved. Now it also consists of demonstrations like cooking, storytelling, and blacksmithing, as well as conversations about history and race that McGill shares with the people who follow him in sleeping in slave dwellings.
It was bigger than me because the media got hold of it, and it was like the genie was out of the bottle, couldn't put him back in. The bell could not be unrung. And because the media was so attracted to it, it spread like wildfire.
When he first started, McGill had no idea it was going to be this big.
My initial intent was to do 1 year in the state that I live in, South Carolina. But it got so big that other states wanted me to come and do it there. They started providing the resources. And now, 14 years later and 25 states later, I'm still at it.
McGill created this project because he was frustrated at the portrayal of Black history in the United States.
In what I do is a lot of anger because, once upon a time when people created these spaces, they were telling these stories about the glamorous part of it and leaving out all that the Slave Dwelling Project is about. That angers people who share my DNA. That's not pleasing at all. So I go to these places knowing that I represent the enslaved people there. I'm their voices.
At 62 years old, McGill dedicates himself entirely to his project, but he also is laying the groundwork to ensure that the Slave Dwelling Project can continue to exist beyond himself.
It is my life. I made it my life. I live and breathe it. It sustains me.
For The Breakdown, this is Marion Delarue.
Thanks for another great week.
Don't mess up, bless up.